Mr. Lynch likes Olivier Farah. Good morning, Mr. Massimo, so simply, Mr. Massimo, so simply, or 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 simply, damn it. It's the Lynch. It's February 4th, so really for this is February 2026, 2026, and it's Wednesday in Naples. Today, totally cloudy. It's white, today cloudy, more white, cloudy scant sfiancena. With a wind, cold and heavy, consider the beer. It's really afternoon 13 and 43 minutes. 55 for Fahrenheit 13 Celsius. Nisi min really cold down. Crazy beers for cold skaska agitated for the winter beer and support for Jessico. As was the effect the shining and free as last June 17 factory or cover yes with the boards card. As pass summer and January summer. Rapsano non frivolo di me, non gas passare fica body. Factory di overcome for yes. Si had also the autumn also for the winter. Madame in particular had to be precise in December 21 in particular in 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy sarà sono rimane fin con la boria which means suppose indeed I'm sure at all it remember things for sim so si atissima sempre purpose fact to be 100 Chinese better and perhaps for me the student take over issues for the autumn summer spring and youth and for the spring is having youth and for the spring so it's off for summer agitated for youth once again agitated off sono stati in genere for posizione piazza se cadi di crisi attesimo sono fino da assoluto incomplete but no in Siberia because it's winter it's cold so in general we should complete but when I see sentence absolute we complete I'm referring to the to me particularly for the Siberia for fact I don't feel cold better feel cold less another people don't think the series of practice but two practices I follow since and do since some years and to show try to fare cool and welcome the winter period winter with the ports period I will sweat comte cioè che spiegare su practice si che se volete root it fix voi in first part of the comte with an asterisk so from man si si first part of the comte with asterisk so and no tali su practice però no sarà più finite fin con notte se fate fil call fra lette fin con riesco no se penso tempo fic 95% fil call avere in genere in some way for me also good in sia the scatto sotto sfiangiato absolutely I can say something just for me it's really bad at this seems like a beefy insomma cosa dice Ieri afternoon finché 3 partecipanti di servizio ci fuori effettivamente fuori Fahrenheit 13 Celsius at in protezione atmosfera ci vedi queste foto vedi se sì, cortina sono se cortina in genere almost perfect as I'm really that I'm sure almost perfect this suppose in fact sono that the repeat is sky totally what cloudy small green and white according considering trends last days weeks according considering what I read consequences everything things spots but it's most sure that later in late afternoon late afternoon might became arcade bleaker and also that my training for a few months I think we're really close let's see we see what happens but as we know bisogna magicians wizards penso così infinite che come screen today perché ha bad so season mythical quindi non ha tortino in frase non fase mix però penso non ha tortino senza si non curtino sta solo number one ma Martin was number one so birthday brevo in particolare third birthday Looking for was no I say that perhaps curtain was a beautiful grey curtain with a beautiful painted ribbons that people on the passage from a previous fact from a curtain using the little matters read one of my comments in sense one of my comments in comment section should be 131st one to for and of them see the comment section I don't know if you can see what I see Terry well shot near me for later from yes. See the clean flowers on the flowers mixed implants. Oh, if not even better, surely better in the short the first part of the video which Perugia showed you with a scat stranger classical middle window, classical middle room, so perhaps no, so there is also the other mythical window, the other mythical room, or the other mythical room with the other mythical window. Oh, from a broader perspective, also, from the other shot similar to the classical shot film Oriental Sequel, November 1 of the sequel, yes, for the previous curtain, beautiful curtain, beautiful painted images, perhaps also for the first curtain, also for the parts of the gallery, curtain, if I'm trying exactly the jewelry, color curtain still, the quality major Rojan, one day I saw I was saying, this shot so sorry, this effect, but for one day, integration, and also this, but one day, so if I imagine, I see that this picture center, so you get it for the best curtain, beautiful curtain, beautiful painted images, perhaps verso il thing, non le water parts, also water parts, color curtain, infants, che sono exactly, and also in the national edit for the new curtain, so my tribute expressions, for first time, so his latest speech or sentence is this, but also and always better visible. For me, its entity in this shot, this one is mythical, genre shot. First days of October, but it's part of the support turismo, la serie del special center for the ultimo solid, sbaglio also read to repeat once again, but also always better visible for me, it's integrated, you need a shot at sequence mythical, la Jenna shot. Finally, from a mythical keyboard, GX 640, APG 635, also, you get me a Jenna shot. Getting the people of the parts is getting it well, so we're in the system. For myself, it was because finally, I hope you will get a break. Today's set in general, also my aspect crazy with me for myself. As I'm reading the last lesson, but to catch for the first time, not that late in general, also for the above all for the record, but not at all for my house, because for my house it's a kind of a normality, make breakfast this hours, but similar note, but above all important to fare even record, c'è sempre the treat was serving back and back, fintan from it, start to eat a bit, the milk, the fintan apartment was yesterday, so I think the record is here, seminar, it is for Sarajevo, what do you repeat? Per cui close the record, late also mass investment not more not yes is just for that just roll just quote 13 and 43 minutes. The important thing shows the M set in some way also today fortunately with so memory young and as we will see ecco fa sono most beautiful dal fuori absolutely. As you know, since most of the but this year, I think more than 1 year, I said that I'm not sure, yes, questo lo sto conti single effect for me reason but also that reason but on your new reason but better in these moments but see for me reason it was the fifth nostro what records beautiful red black nose one that if the modern comparison the previous all thing that no perhaps follow with me on particular on Friday what record think nobody so questo nobody yes, but I repeat, yes, the time on the period should be this, but a ball, but a ball, one day, easy, one time, I promise you that one day, se non time c'è questo better, this is it, say these things, o meglio di speech, e fresare uno shot, so bisogno di giochi, solo che mazzomania, mazzamo, sono, fresare biscuits, are my favorite fact, there are members who come to biscuits, yes, I think it one minutes, for the massacre types, biscuits, chocolate chip cookies, or the cookies, the chips, chocolate chips. يعني فأنت مسيقول فوت بيسك مثلا ما in particolare nothing serve di si strano per mica fa sono shot anche ti conf to sono shock fa questo stato faccio fragmenti video da shot in fast finché se venite monte su segreto lo so conosci bisogna capire se non touch per spettro cosa ma è quick se finisce now that is one second this one second bro tit one second finché 210 11 12 videos 11 12 videos 13 days e su segreto su conosci bisogna di video se non touch better so since that moment, right today, I bought insert it once again in milk soup, very good news. And we did also factoring was a breakfast, was a bomb, a still in particular mega bomb. Essere in la spirito gioco sulla consumania, solo per questo mi finito first time sulla period. E mi fizzavo lo scusa tool, la cosa breakfast, was a mega bomb. Secondo cosa passa si fa in frabbio si sta con e transi, la scusa alza in position. Capisco so che segue di pama fissa position, ma ti già se ho preso position, cosa? Altri visto che position per me era Italian Pub Dark Chocolate Chip Siras. Era in fact Italian Pub Dark Chocolate Chip Siras. Fa così, a tu come andiamo tu? Because they are really super bar. Sì, tomorrow se poi fare con non tomorrow 8 con 2 lab ma uguale sì